Good afternoon. It's the Pit Stop. I'm Stephen McCollum, and you've reached a weekly racing show about IndyCar and NASCAR. And look, for the next hour or so, we're going to get you all set up, and you can watch the show on demand on YouTube. Just go to @TME Media AZ. TME Media AZ is where you can find us on demand. All of our programming for TME Media is there as well. Or if you'd like to, go over to Rumble if you're more of a Rumble fan over YouTube. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. Well, you can find us there, including our other shows, including The Real Matrix is over on Rumble. It's not on YouTube, The Real Matrix. Everything else is over on YouTube. Find our programming there, or you can listen to the Pit Stop here. You can listen via your favorite podcast system, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Podchaser, whichever one you listen to podcast on. Well, you can do that. Just search the Pit Stop with Steven, or it's kind of the description is the Pit Stop Talk is where you can find it. Then, of course, always follow us on X at the Pit Stop Talk. Join into the racing conversation every week with the racetracks, racing going on the weekend, what happens during the week. Well, this weekend, the IndyCar is back on the track. They go to Nashville, back to an oval track here for IndyCar. NASCAR Truck and Cup Series, well, they go to a points race for the Cup Series over at North Wilkesboro this weekend. So normally, last 3 years, that's been an all-star race for the Cup Series. Well, points racing here coming up on that short track. The O'Reilly Series, well, it gets the weekend off. They come back next weekend to Indianapolis, coming up for that O'Reilly Series as well. But before we can look ahead, well, we have to look back at last weekend's racing, and boy, was that some racing out there. IndyCar was off, but the NASCAR Truck Series got some Saturday morning racing, which I really enjoy for the Truck Series. I get it, the Friday afternoon, 2:30 out here on the West Coast, we watch racing on Friday, but there's something about having them as a standalone race on a Saturday, especially with the O'Reilly Series behind them as well, like we did have happen last weekend. Now, it's the second year of racing at LimeRock Park up there in Connecticut, and I thought it was a fun race. It has become a fun race for multiple reasons. One, the racing's competitive, door-to-door racing throughout this race, guys pushing to try to get that victory there at LimeRock in the Truck Series. The fans love racing there, the fans that show up to this event. There's no grandstands. It's just an old homey feel at this racetrack as well. I think it's a great environment. I think the racing is fantastic. The fans support it. It's the second year there. I'd like to see that continue at LimeRock as well up there in Connecticut for that. It just feels like an old school race there, especially great for that Truck Series. Not only that, but LimeRock gave us a winner. Well, we haven't seen him in victory lane in over a year. That's a fantastic way to run this race as well. It's not the same old guys up there winning in the Truck Series when it comes to LimeRock. That's right, Grant Effinger. Yeah, he actually took the lead on a late race restart and carried that lead to the victory. Now, it was a late race restart, so Effinger, Gio Ruggiero, they were in the front row for this restart. About 3 laps remaining in the race. Effinger got the jump at the green flag. He did have to hold off Landon Lewis for the victory in this battle as well. Well, I just told you about it. Let's show you here, thanks to Fox Sports. They give us the stuff here, the visuals for the truck race. Truck 1 to the check.
He's a little bit loose into that corner. Lewis is giving it all he has.
Lewis trying to seize opportunity as we got Garcia going off behind him at Big Bend. Here's Lewis up the inside. Couldn't quite get there.
This is a great race, guys. 2 drivers that are just giving it everything they have.
Half a lap to go.
Look who's coming. It's a good thing there's a half lap to go. Caden is fast.
Off the final corner. It's going to be a warm welcome back to victory lane for Grant Enfinger. First win of 2026 comes on the road course at LimeRock.
a little breathing there at the end. That was just fantastic door-to-door racing for most of that race as well. Out there, was able to hold him off, fairly easily. There were some challenges there by Landon Lewis as well. There on that last lap, Caden Honeycutt was coming up strong. We'll talk about him here in just a minute. But look, it's been over a year since Grant Effinger has been in victory lane. Let's check into him post-race here. Truck 2.
I mean, honestly, Derek's given us great road course trucks all year long. This is, sadly enough, it's been our best opportunity to win is a road course, but we've had issues in all three of them. This time we had our issues in practice and broke a shock, and George did an amazing job. Derek did an amazing job just getting us out there to qualify, but we had missed something with some of the suspension components a bit, but Derek did a great job for the race. I feel like we had some things playing our hand. I don't think we could have be the 11 and the 34 straight up. I seen what happened in the ARCA race. I didn't want to line up third and push my way through the win. I know that's common these days, and man, I prayed about it. I thought about it, and I wanted to beat him straight up on the outside. So proud of that. That a lot went into that decision. But man, that's what I've been my whole career. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I didn't want to go in there and purposely root him out of the way and take the win. So I feel like we beat him on the launch. And I think we had a better car, and Derek did just an amazing job with this Grant County March Chevrolet. So,
I mean, a veteran driver there, kind of getting in the mind of the driver as well on that restart with 3 laps to go, right? He had decisions to make, and you said right there, NASCAR kind of has turned into race through you type of mentality. He decided he wanted to just race him off the line and get that victory, win or fail, right? And he chose that aspect. So good veteran presence and inside the mind of a veteran driver out there, there at the end of that race as well. So fantastic ending to a race that was competitive all along. As I told you, door-to-door racing throughout, especially at the end of that race. There was, though, an 18-minute red flag that occurred, that we all had to sit through, cleanup of oil on the track. And we'll talk more about another incident in the truck series here coming up in just a moment. But the finish order of this race, look, playoff implications online. Truck 3, if we could throw that up for me. And look, we're down to just a few races remaining here in the truck series before the playoffs get set. The chase, as we're calling it again here. Some notes on the finish order. Caden Honeycutt, he was in 24th position with 28 laps to go. He was involved in one of those multi-car wrecks. He ended up driving through the field there for that third place finish. If that race was 2 or 3 laps longer, he would have been up there in the front competing for a win, no doubt about it. Honeycutt won stage 2, which that initially pushed him and then clinched his spot into the chase. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Then you got Lane Riggs here, as you see on your listing in front of you. He led the first 32 laps of the race. He won stage 1. He also clinched his spot into the chase officially now. So 2 of the 10 spots are taken for the chase as well. There were 4 yellows, 1 red in the final 40 laps of this 100-lap race. So lots of action here late, of course, So in terms of, right, I already told you, Grant Effinger there, Landon Lewis in second, Caden Honeycutt in third. We already knew about that. Parker Klingerman finishes 4th, Christian Eckes in 5th. I like the way Christian Eckes has been running a little bit lately here. Consistent runs by him. Wondering if he's got a victory coming up in the next few races. Then you got Daniel Hemrick there in 6th. Andres Perez de Laura there in 7th. Way low on points. This is a great finish for him if he wants to get back into the conversation of getting into that top 10 for the championship. We'll show you that in a second. Tanner Gray in 8th. Stuart Friesen coming in at 9th as well for him. Colin Braun there in the 10th spot. In terms of playoff drivers, right, there's several guys we haven't talked about so far. Ruggiero, you saw he was there in that restart, ends up finishing 20th for him in this race. Jake Garcia in 22nd. Lane Riggs, 23rd. Right, he's not in danger. He clinched a chase spot. Right now, he's in the 1 spot, but that's not a good finish for him out there as well right now. Tyler Ankrum came in 25th. Frankie Muniz, I'd like to give him a shout-out as a local Phoenix guy here. He did finish 26th in this race as well. Chandler Smith finished 30th. Ben Rhodes 31st, Ty Majeski 32nd. Accidents and other things taking, I think it was something with the car. I want to say maybe a drive shaft or something for Chandler Smith. It was something like that. Could have been an engine. I don't remember exactly. I know Corey LaJoy had the engine problem there for his race as well. So, look, exciting race. That was fantastic. I just love those little one-offs. Just makes it feel down homey, I think, for the truck series, right? We've already told you 2 drivers of the 10 have punched their tickets here for the chase. Throw up the championship points in the truck series. Truck 4, please. Lane Riggs right there, as I told you, in. Caden Honeycutt, in. Well, who's going to win the regular season is still up for bids. 4 races remaining here in the truck series. 1 coming up this weekend. So it's going to end pretty quickly here to get into this top 10. Chandler Smith, Christian Eckes, Gio Ruggiero, they're all safe to move on in the chase here with 4 races to go unless something disastrous happens for them. All 100-plus points up. Ty Majeski, I'm going to Ben Rhodes, probably safe as well. Daniel Hemrick at 53. We're starting to, Daniel Hemrick's probably all right, but then Grant, look at this. Grant with that win, moving up in that 9th spot, 42 points from the cut line now. So you're seeing some big movements. Now, I would say anything 1 through 9, unless disaster strikes for these drivers, meaning they're finishing last or lower the track for the next 4 races, I think they're pretty much safe to move on. Now, we could have some issues here, like Daniel Hemrick might have a couple bad races to knock him down. Grant Effinger might have some bad races to get him down. But Tyler Ankrum needs some work to do here to stay on that positive side because Stuart Friesen, Jake Garcia, only 17 points on the downside. You can easily pass up here and move up to that side, right? Then you got Brendan Queen, only 21 points back. Andres Perez Delore with that finish, making some distance here, getting back up to 31 points. Now we're starting to get into some guys that have to pretty much race extremely well with no mess ups here to move on at this point. But I'm going to tell you right now, we have on the outside 4 drivers, 5 if you include that last spot, battling for a spot in the chase here with 4 races to go here in the truck series. It doesn't mean that Grant Effinger is safe. He's got a little bit of a buffer there to where he probably can make a mistake. Now you're going to have 3 out of the 4 clean races coming up. But there's a battle here for at least that last spot, and can somebody put enough together to get into that next position there, bump 2 drivers out of that top 10 for the race coming up as well. Other quick news around LimeRock, just to update you if you haven't seen it. There was a pretty serious, scary situation with Thomas Enenzida there in the truck race. I always trip over his name, folks. He was running second at this point. Caution laps are up there. He had just won the ARCA race at LimeRock on Friday as well. Well, let's show you what I'll tell you right now before you see it. In case you didn't see it, he is okay and everything. But here's what happened during the race here. Truck 5, please.
Oh, look at this. Annunziata up in flames from second spot under caution.
Well, now we have seen it all.
Yep. Luckily, Thomas climbs from the truck. That thing got hot in a hurry.
That was a big fire.
I mean, you see it gets out of the truck under his own power. Walking off of that, I mean, he's hot, folks. That, flame retardant suits for a reason in there. But doesn't mean it's not hot in there as well. He walked away from it. They extinguished it. Scary situation. But they announced shortly after that he was transported to the hospital. Not a surprise to me that he was awake and alert because he walked off from his truck there as well. He later released a statement after at the hospital, and I believe this was before he was released. It might have been about the same time. Truck 6 for me, if you can throw that up here. Just a statement from him, and he wanted everybody to know that he was okay out there. He went on to say, "I really appreciate all the messages and concern after yesterday. Just swallowed a little fire. That's all." That doesn't sound fun, does it, folks? He said, on the racing side, what a weekend. He was racing for Tricon, of course. Tricon Garage gave me the race-winning truck. We qualified up front, ran up front all day. And like I said, second when the incident happened as well. He said they were lining up on the front row with a shot to win. Well, before the fire incident happened out there as well. So it's only his second Truck Series start, as you see his comments there. Won the twice ARCA race winner there at LimeRock. Won it just on Friday as well. A young kid in this race. He had a shot to win this thing before this fire happened, but he is okay. I mean, just scary incident anytime. Even when you walk away from fire situations, you just don't know what's happening, right? And you saw he ate a little flames there in his truck as well with those types of fires. Next up for the Truck Series, well, this weekend they're going to historic North Wilkesboro Speedway there in North Carolina for the Truck Series. We'll get into that and look ahead to the Truck Series as later on in the show as we get to that part of the program. And then you got to go later on in the day here, and weather was a threat around Atlanta all day Saturday. We know it was a huge threat and ended up affecting the Sunday race of the Cup Series. And EchoPark, just outside of Atlanta, well, it shows what drafting tracks should be. And Saturday night's O'Reilly race, well, no exception there. Now, this race was kind of long. 4 hours, double overtime is what it took here for the O'Reilly series to find out who was going to tame EchoPark there. And it just happened to be somebody we're very familiar with in the victory lane. That's Justin Allgaier. He made a last lap pass to claim his sixth win of the season. And just after taking the white flag in that double overtime, well, race leader Brendan Poole, and defending race winner Nick Sanchez, they collided, went up to the wall, which led to a frantic charge to the checkered flag after that. As they went into the upper wall there, Allgaier went below the wreck. Parker Retzlaff and Karsak Wappel, I believe it was, ran right behind him. Allgaier made the move at just the right time, was able to hold off Carson Kvapil at the end of this, won by 0.139 seconds to secure the personal high single season 6th win of his career. And this season, he officially now has also earned the 2026 regular season championship with several races to go for him. I just told you about the last lap. Let's go to the CW. Let's check out the last lap from the broadcast point of view. O'Reilly won.
The next flag will end at Brennan Poole leads.
Brennan's got to defend right here from Sanchez. Oh, Sanchez to the inside.
There's contact. Sanchez into the wall. Allgaier is leading. We stay green for now.
Look at Allgaier's car dragging all the way around the track.
That's Parker Retzlaff behind
Saw
him.
the two guys go up into the wall.
First career victory.
Yeah, without some help, I don't see Parker getting there, but Carson's coming with a big run here.
Here's Allgaier coming off the corner, trying to get his second Atlanta win. Kvapil is there, but it's Allgaier who delivers his 6th victory of the campaign. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, Carson Kvapil with Sieg running out of fuel, just crushed that outside lane.
Just look at Allgaier dragging, right? Those sparks. That doesn't help your momentum at all as you are running there as well. Carson Kvapil end up in that second spot there as well, passing Parker Retz very closely there, Retzlaff. Now to drafting track. So Parker was stuck out there behind Justin Allgaier, not able to get that push until Carson Kvapil got there. And then Kvapil was able to use that momentum to pass Parker and get to that second place spot as well. Hey, look, you win your 6th race of the year in the O'Reilly series, or any series for that matter. We go to you after the race. Let's check in with the CW. Justin Allgaier after the race, O'Reilly 2.
Right here, this team, so proud of everybody at Junior Motorsports. We had 5 great Chevrolets today. And I knew at the end there was going to be some guys close on fuel, and you just never give up. Andrew Overstreet, this whole 7 team, Eddie the Hans Spotter, they talk over and over again about not giving up, and that's what this team's all about. So,
yeah, I mean, look, he's very polished, obviously an older driver in the O'Reilly series. Talked rumors of him retiring after this year, and he's an all-around good guy. I've known somebody that was on his pit crew for a bunch of years and things to that effect. He's just a stellar human being as well with his winning out there. Now, he races for Junior Motorsports, and Junior Motorsports is now within one top 10 of equaling a record of 79 consecutive race streak of having one team car finish in the top 10. Yeah, they've had a car in the top 10 for 79 consecutive races here. RFK currently holds that mark, and Now they're just one behind it here with, of course, off week this week. Indianapolis coming up after that to tie RFK with that mark out there as well. Now, this O'Reilly race, I thought it was pretty fun, and that late night racing, kind of threats of rain, kind of not threats of rain out there. And the race ended up having a track record 13 caution flags in this, 4 red flags as well, nearly a half hour of stoppage. And just the red flag side, not including any of the yellows out there. There were 11 different race leaders, 19 lead changes in this race in the O'Reilly Series, 9 lead changes in just the final 70 laps of the race. And there was a 172 lap race with the double overtimes involved also. Now, lots of excitement out there on this drafting track. And I told you, this is a drafting track, but it's not like Daytona. It's not like those other drafting tracks. You get the speed here. Yes, you need some help and momentum to get up there in terms of the drafting, but you also need to get up there with your speed and stay up there. And I just like the way Atlanta runs, EchoPark runs, compared to those other tracks, right? Get fuel savings and things on those other tracks. 5 caution periods included 2 red flags in just the last 11 laps of this race. Of course, that includes that huge 11-car accident near the front. On that restart, I want to say it was 10 or 11 laps to go. Well, that was in regulation. It eliminated some of the evening's best cars, right? Sammy Smith was involved in that. He led a race best 34 laps until that moment as well. Jesse Love, the number 2 guy in points on the O'Reilly Series, involved in that as well. They were going to compete for a win there as well with Justin Allgaier, but that big wreck there with 11 to go there knocked them out of contention as well. Throw up the finish order for me. It's O'Reilly 3, if you could. We told you Justin Allgaier, number 1. Carson Guapel in second. Parker Reslav in third. We know how they finished. We just saw it. William Solwitz, right, helps his playoff points here as well, finishing in fourth. Anthony Alfredo in fifth. Then you got Garrett Smithley in sixth. Brendan Jones in seventh. Kyle Sieg in eighth. Roger Carruth coming in with a top 10 finish and number 9 for him as well. Jeremy Clements there in the 10th spot. Right, there's a lot of big names here in the O'Reilly Series we haven't even mentioned yet, right? Brendan Poole, 17th is where he finished out. Sammy Smith in 18th. Nick Sanchez in 19th, right? Nick Sanchez there with that white flag flew, and he went up into that upper wall with his wreck as well for him. So Austin Hill finished 22nd. Brent Cruz, my favorite young driver, ended up 24th. Well, accident knocked him out of that race in the 153rd lap for him. Look, a lot of cars out in this with accidents. Pretty much top 20. Let's see here. Actually, I'll tell you, 21 cars finished this race. Everybody else, accidents. And 20th, 19th and 20th finished, 19th and 20th finished 1 lap down. And the last place guy that finished there, 21st spot, finished 3 laps down as well for that. So carnage galore on a drafting track. You come to expect that in the drafting tracks. But you get that speed and things with Atlanta that I just enjoy a lot out there after the repaving. So, but Brent Cruz, Sheldon Creed, Jesse Love, we already told you, out of these races here in terms of the playoff guys. Sam Mayer went out early in this race, ended up finishing 31st. He only got 119 laps in for him. Corey Day, Taylor Gray out of this race as well. Harrison Burton got knocked out early for them. Look, it was fester, as I told you there, with all of those cautions. Now, the race, because of all of that, the race definitely impacted the point standings. 3 races remaining to set the 12-driver championship field for the O'Reilly Series out there. Throw up the championship standings. O'Reilly 4, if you would, for me. Justin Allgaier clinched. Jesse Love clinched in this race as well. We know Allgaier's been clinched for a while now. Another win just keeps him, look at that distance, 966 points to 726. Also, Justin Allgaier, I do believe as well, he clinched the regular season championship with that win as well. But Jesse Love in that second spot, Sheldon Creed, Corey Day, Carson Quapple with his second place finish. is in that 5th spot there. Brandon Jones in the 6th, Austin Hill in 7th. Sammy Smith, even though he went out this race early in 8th, Parker Retzlaff with his 3rd place finish up into the 9th spot right now. 71 points up here, right? Giving him some breathing room with just a few races remaining to lock this in. Sam Mayer did himself no favors. Well, not his fault, really. Got in that accident. Brent Cruz, look, he's got to keep moving. Kind of a lower end finish for him. Doing a DNF for him. Sam Mayer, Brent Cruz, and Taylor Gray all in that situation. Made it a little bit tighter for them, but they're still in the positive side here. Top 12 for the chase coming up. Raja Caruth within striking distance. Williams Allwich in striking distance with 21 points back for him as well. Everyone else, Anthony Alfredo, Ryan Stieg, impossible for them to get into contention unless just a miracle has to happen for them. You got 3 guys on the outside that are vying to knock 3 guys on the inside of the top 12 of the chase. 3 races remaining, off week coming up this week for them as well. The CW shouldn't shock you here. They had 1 million total viewers for the double overtime NASCAR O'Reilly win there at EchoPark. 1,011,000 if you want the exact number. Another race over 1 million viewers as well. It was the most watched summer race at Atlanta in 5 years. Viewership peaked in the race at 1,072,000 viewers. Now, that was between 10 and 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, so 7:15, 7:30 here in the West Coast where we record the show from. The audience grew 4% compared to the same race weekend last year. Last year, it was at Sonoma Raceway, so 4% up at that point as well. So there you go, folks. Ratings continue to be over 1 million on the CW for the O'Reilly series. Now, next up for the O'Reilly series, it's an off week coming up. Then they return July 25th at Indianapolis Motor Speedway here. 3 races remaining on that O'Reilly side. And then we go to Sunday, and NASCAR, a lot of times when they see weather moving in, they'll move a race up. Well, they got bad weather on Sunday morning as well around Atlanta. And then rain led to a late night finish in Atlanta for the Cup Series. Late night for us on the West Coast. Early morning Monday for those of you on the East Coast out there. And it was a dominating race run by Ryan Blaney. I picked the wrong Team Penske driver to win this race. I thought the Fords would do well in this, meaning Ryan Blaney or Joey Logano. And I picked Logano, and Ryan Blaney gets the win. Blaney led a dominating 171 of the 263 laps. It's the second win for Blaney this season. His last one, well, right here in Phoenix, back in March is when he got that win. Blaney made the winning pass on the last lap, and what had been a dramatic lap-by-lap, night-long battle for the lead here on this racetrack. Now, Blaney's laps led total at EchoPark. It's the most for a race winner at a drafting track since Richard Petty did it back in 1964. That was at Daytona 500 for the drafting track. But back then, Richard Petty led 184 of the 200 laps for his win there as well. Let's see how Ryan Blaney did it. Final lap, Cup 1, please.
Coming back to the white flag. Hocevar way out front.
Front to bottom. Big run comes from the 12 to the 23 down the front straightaway.
Blaney goes outside. He's been great all night long.
Blaney's the car on the top.
70 laps trying to get around Hocevar.
Carson Hocevar's in the 77 yellow car.
We got a wreck on the back straightaway. Bubba 3 wide below the line. That's going to be a penalty, I'm afraid.
Listen to that. Penalty on Bubba.
Through turns 3 and 4. Bell pushing Blaney. Middle lane, Hocevar. Back to the checkered flag. It's going to be Ryan Blaney who wins it in Atlanta. Oh, my, what a dominating win.
Dominating win for him. 3 wide. Guys trying to battle it out there. Blaney's car getting all squirrely. Headed to that checkered flag on top of it. Wreck's happening behind him. Well, unfortunately, Bubba Wallace, great finish for him, but he went below. So Atlanta EchoPark has a rule that double yellow, it's out of bounds. You can't go below it and then advance your position or try to advance your position is the technical rule. Well, he went below it there. You heard on the broadcast, they called it right away. That's going to be a penalty for him. Well, we'll talk about that in just a moment here. But as you saw, Blaney's number 12 Team Penske Ford Well, it got the race-winning nudge from Christopher Bell there as well. Christopher Bell ended up crossing the finish line 3 wide alongside Bubba Wallace and Carson Hocevar. Man, just what a finish and what a payoff after that. What was it, 3.5 hour red flag for the rain for this race? Now, Blaney, well, he's earned Ford's last 6 NASCAR Cup Series wins, and it marks a significant 750th victory for Ford Motor Company in the NASCAR Series. A fantastic win for Blaney. He's been dominating the Fords here as well, as you just saw, with those 6 race wins. You dominate like that, you dominate several win races here for Ford, well, we'll go to you after the race as well. TNT had the race. We get this from TNT. Cup 2, please.
Yeah, pretty wild. You know, I was second. It's okay. Just take the front row, and we'll see who get behind me. And Bubba gave me really good shoves. You know, on the restart, we got hooked up really good, and then Bubba and I got a huge run down the front straightaway, and was able to get to the outside of Carson. Wasn't able to clear him, and then Bubba went 3 wide bottom down the back, which lined up for a really cool finish at the line. And I really have to shout out Christopher Bell for being right on my bumper all the way through 3 and 4 and big push. He was a big reason why we won the race. So I appreciate that, Christopher. But the fans, thank you guys for sticking around, guys. Man.
At 2 a.m.
Yeah, is it 2 a.m.?
Almost.
Past my bedtime, but it ain't past y'all. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us.
Yeah, 2 a.m. almost Atlanta time is when that race finished. So you just heard that there, right? I want to, can we play that clip again here and Kobe and Ethan? Let's play that clip again. Go ahead and take the sound down. I just want to show you guys some things on what he's talking about for some of you that aren't necessarily diehard NASCAR fans out there. Go ahead and start it again when you get, not that clip, the white flag clip there for me. Here we go, right? See, this is what drafting tracks do. See how far out Carson Hocevar is there in the 77? See how Ryan Blaney and Bubba Wallace are getting the push there, which allows them to get the momentum on Carson Hocevar. Now, Hocevar here, right, now that he's got guys behind him, they're not close enough behind him. They're dragging, but you see how he kind of gets some momentum and then falls back. Bubba Wallace goes out to the bottom, goes down right here below the bottom line there. And then these guys are battling it. You got Ty Gibbs there in the monster car. You've got Christopher Bell, who is pushing Ryan Blaney there over the checkered flag. That was the momentum he needed to get in front. That's what he was explaining there. That's what these drafting tracks do. You cannot be alone on a drafting track. You will not have the speed and momentum to compete at those levels there, right? And to get to that point. So that's what he's talking about on that Atlanta track. Daytona, Bristol are all those types of tracks as well. Different styles there, but that's what Ryan Blaney was specifically talking about there. Now, you heard on the clip when there was audio, when we played that, TNT called it right away. Bubba went below the double line. That's out of bounds for NASCAR here at EchoPark. Now, Bubba Wallace, it was official after the race. He was penalized for being out of bounds. Now, that top 5 finish that he had, it goes away. He now finishes 29th, and he had a very successful day here on this racetrack. That's going to affect his championship points here as he's fighting, obviously, to stay in the top 16 on the club level. Obviously, Wallace did not agree with the decision by NASCAR. They got called to the hauler. They all went in there. He came out. I saw some of his interviews. He said, well, I didn't advance my spot. Because sometimes some tracks you can go below the yellow line, but you have to go back at least where you went down there. So if you're in 4th place when you go behind the yellow line, you have to be in 4th place or worse when you come back over it. He didn't advance his position at all, but that's not the rule at Atlanta. The rule is you don't go below that line at all, regardless if you advance your position or not. Throw up the finishing order for me here. Cup 3, if you would. So Ryan Blaney gets that win, led 171 of the laps, as we told you here. Christopher Bell second with that push of Ryan Blaney, also got him into that second spot. Christopher Bell, I love the way Christopher Bell is running right now. I had him the winner of this race. Gets the 2nd place finish there by pushing Blaney. He led 5 laps here as well. Carson Hocevar in that 77. You saw he just had no momentum out there in the front at the beginning. And then nobody got behind him for that finish run, right? Bubba Wallace did, but then he moved down below him. He just couldn't get that momentum, but ultimately finishes third for him. Led 25 laps in this race. Ty Gibbs was pushing there for a little bit there. Ty Gibbs finishes fourth. Eric Jones in fifth. Shane Van Gisbergen. He obviously, street courses are what they are for him. He dominates them unless he gets knocked out like he did at San Diego. But SVG needs good finishes on the ovals. He had a few early in the season and then a bunch of bad ones. Well, finishing sixth at an oval track is going to keep you in the top 16 for a playoff push here. Coming up for SVG, finished sixth in this race. Austin Dillon was in seventh. Tyler Reddick in eighth. Of course, he's trying to get back that series lead in points for that. Joey Logano, the other Team Penske guy, the one that I picked to win this race, well, he finished ninth in this race. And then another Ford, Chris Buescher with RFK in that 10th spot as well. Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Austin Cindric, Michael McDowell in the 10th through 15th spots in that order. Other guys, look, there's some big name guys we haven't mentioned here on this list, as you can see there as well. We have to go down a little bit. Brad Keselowski, well, he finished the race, running. Well, 263 laps here for him. Finished 26th in this. Connor Zilic was 28th in this race. Bubba Wallace, well, 29th. As I told you, because of the penalty and basically disqualification. So big run for him. And how does that affect his points? We'll show you that in just a second as well. Kyle Larson, well, he did finish this race running, only finished 258 laps here, finished 34th for him, obviously playoff points as well. Chase Briscoe, who of course just had won out of this race, 250 laps roughly, got that accident there for him as well. So obviously major implications in the championship standings. 6 races remaining to set the 16 driver field, to compete in the chase out there. And Bubba Wallace had a really good opportunity to make some bigger points here with a high finish and finishing 29th. Throw up those championship points for us. Cup 4, if you will. Denny Hamlin clinched the chase spot with this race. So did Tyler Reddick. Now they're battling it out for who's going to win the regular season championship. Tyler Reddick. Denny Hamlin struggled there at EchoPark, but still has the lead. His lead was cut down by a little bit, but those two are definitely in the chase. They're just going to vie for that who wins the regular season. Ryan Blaney with that win in the 3rd spot. Ty Gibbs in the 4th. Chase Elliott in the 5th. Kyle Larson in the 6th. Well, these guys are all going to make the chase here unless something disastrous happens for them. Chris Buescher, Carson Hocevar, like him a lot there in that 8th spot. Christopher Bell in the 9th with the 113th. If you're above 100 points, well, you can have a couple. You've allowed yourself mistakes with 6 races to go. Meaning you can have a bad race or two and still qualify in that 16th. If you're under 100 points or around 100 points, like Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, William Byron, Bubba Wallace, Austin Cindric, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Eric Jones, especially Eric Jones, well, you've given yourself no leeway. You have to have good finishes above the guys that are outside the top 16 in order to stay inside the bubble here for the chase. Because Joey Logano, 8 points out. Ryan Preece, 26 points out. Brad Keselowski's getting to that point where it's going to be hard for him to qualify. Same thing with Ross Chastain. You can make up 43 and 45 points over the next 6 races. Yes, you can. But not the way where you're running, you cannot. No leeway here. You've got to make the push. You've got to have great finishes to do it. You put pressure on yourself. We've got about 3 drivers battling for playoff spots here with 6 races to go overall here on the NASCAR Cup Series for these guys. Now, ratings for Sunday's rain-delayed NASCAR Cup Series. It would be interesting to see right before the rain delay, 3.5 hour. I mean, this thing didn't start again. It got done about 11 roughly p.m. here at Phoenix time. I fell asleep toward the end of it there. But 3.5 hour rain delay, right? Is what we were looking at. Well, for TNT is where it was, 1.5 million viewers. Now, TNT includes HBO Max and True TV that you can watch it at as well. 1.5 million viewers checked in. TNT Sports said the race was on pace to average 2.4 million viewers before that rain-filled 3-hour red flag. So they lost about almost a million viewers here with that 3-hour rain delay. Coverage peaked at 2.6 million viewers as well in this race. The audience was down from 1.6 million viewers for last summer's race at EchoPark Speedway. Well, also delayed and impacted by rain last year. Now, TNT Sports did note the race marked the latest finish of a NASCAR Cup Series race in over 7 years. Yeah, I mean, look, you finishing at 2 a.m. local time there in Atlanta, it's pretty late, folks, out there. Yeah, pretty late. The other thing that happens here with the NASCAR Cup Series, well, we're down to the final four in the in-season challenge. Throw up that bracket for me here of the in-season after the race here in Atlanta. Here we go, folks. We got Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney battling it out this weekend. Christopher Bell beat out Denny Hamlin this weekend. Obviously, you finished second. Unless Denny Hamlin won the race, which he did not, you're going to beat them. So Christopher Bell with his 10 seed, defeating number 2 Denny Hamlin in this race. Ryan Blaney surpassed William Byron in this one. Of course, Blaney winning the race, nobody can beat him when you win the race there. So Blaney and Bell battle it out this weekend on that side of the bracket. Look at this. Todd Gilliland getting it to the final four. He beat Alex Bowman, who was a 32 seed. That was a 32 and a 25 seed battling it out. Well, Gilliland gets into the final four. Of course, they're battling it out for $1 million. Basically, the best finish of the race. Whoever finishes higher than the other driver is how you decide this thing. And then Chase Elliott took out Chase Briscoe, the battle of the chases. So you got Gilliland Elliott this weekend in the final four, and Christopher Bell and Ryan Blaney battling it out. Here coming up, of course, whoever finishes best of those four drivers, of those, I guess, the pairing of the two, well, you were down to a final 2 race going into next weekend's racing as well. North Wilkesboro short track this week. I'll say this, Christopher Bell, I do like Ryan Blaney in these short track situations. This could be a fantastic ending, right? Another 1-2 type situation. Both Bell and Blaney, short track savants out there. It's going to be fun to watch that in season on top of the battle that happens at North Wilkesboro this weekend. And I don't know about Chase Elliott and Gilliland. Gilliland could win that against Chase Elliott on this short track coming up here. So it's going to be a fun little thing to get the final 4 out there. Next up for the Cup Series, a points race coming up in North Wilkesboro. That is in North Carolina. Was a racetrack. They raced there last in 1996. Then it went defunct. They rebuilt it, put a lot of work into it. Well, it was the all-star race for the last 3 years. This year, becoming a points race. So now the all-star race races differently than a points race does. That's going to be a fun weekend here, watching the difference coming up here as well. So last time in 1996 when the Cup Series raced at North Wilkesboro, yeah, Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon won that race in 96. Hey, after the break, we look at the news around racing. A big one here around super speedway racing from NASCAR announcing it. And of course, we look ahead to this weekend. IndyCar going to Nashville. Back to the ovals. Joseph Newgarden dominates ovals around the IndyCar. Well, am I going to go with the chalk, or am I going to go with somebody else in this racetrack? Stay tuned for that. Noah O'Reilly this race, but we get that short track of North Wilkesboro this weekend. North Wilkesboro. Come back and join us, folks. The Pit Stop. back here at the pit stop. Well, we just got done looking back at last weekend's racing, LimeRock Park, and of course, EchoPark there as well. Lots of parks last weekend as well. Hey, you've got the pit stop here. We're the weekly racing show where we look back at IndyCar and NASCAR racing and look ahead to racing this weekend. Of course, I'm Stephen McCollum, and we just went backwards, and now it's time after the news to go forward here to this weekend as well. We're about to talk about the news around the sport. Of course, IndyCar's in Nashville, and NASCAR Truck and Cup Series at North Wilkesboro. The O'Reilly Series is off this weekend. You can watch the show on YouTube at TME Media AZ is where you can find it on demand, or even over on Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media, where you can find the program if you click on that channel button right above, because things will get lost with our video uploads. Click on that channel button, click on the pit stop or any of our programming over there from McCollum on Business, the main event. Of course, those are both live on YouTube every morning, 7 a.m. and then 8 to 10 for the main event, 7 a.m. for McCollum on Business, live on YouTube, and then on demand on YouTube and Rumble. All of our programming is there. The Real Matrix is come out noon on Fridays is when that comes out. Only on Rumble, though. No YouTube for that. All of our programming, including the pit stop here, well, we have free podcast systems of podcast versions of it. Just search for the name of the show. This one would be the Pit Stop with Steven. For instance, Apple, Google, Spotify, Podchaser, iHeart. It's all there for you as well. All of our shows have that, except for McCollum on Business. The Real Matrix does as well, for those of you that prefer that. And, of course, don't forget, follow us on X as well. The Pit Stop Talk is where you can find us there. And join the conversation on X. Of course, we watch racing, weekly stuff. Trust me, we'll respond to you and have some fun, talk with you as well there on that page. Of course, follow TME Media AZ on X as well. It's just the parent company of what we do around here. Puts out show information, when shows are coming up, if shows are off, for instance. What we do around here, we have a website coming up for TME Media, so you want to be following TME Media AZ for those big announcements as well. And now let's get into the news around racing and some big news here as well. We'll get to in just a minute. But we also found out that NASCAR, well, they still have big ambitions globally for the NASCAR brand. CEO Steve O'Donnell came out and kind of confirmed this here last weekend. But also we found out that NASCAR recently made a new hire in the international department to develop projects that would grow the sport around the world. Last month, we found this out from the NASCAR website. Somebody went in there and saw they hired a UFC SVP/international and content person. Yeah, it's a long title, right? Adam Layton is his name. He's SVP NASCAR International head person there. This role includes strategy development, event operations, and revenue generations for its 3 national series, throughout NASCAR here in the United States. Now, promoting it on the international side, right? Well, Steve O'Donnell came out and said this, quote, "We have racing series in foreign countries, but we're really taking a hard look at where we can go with the sport internationally. We certainly want to maximize what we're doing in North America, but we believe we have some really great opportunities internationally as well." So instantly you think of, right, Truck Series. They've done Mexico City. They used to race in Canada, things to that effect. So interesting thing, opportunities for Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup. Well, Steve O'Donnell went on to say that doesn't necessarily mean Cup Series. It means developing the brand with the ultimate goal. When you talk to people, to be the biggest form of sports and entertainment in the world, he says we've got a way to go to get there, but that's the goal. And so we want to rally everyone around that, work together, and see what we need to do in each of those areas. Yeah. O'Donnell, right? So then you think, okay, so maybe they'll have new brands out there. Well, O'Donnell did identify Canada, Europe, and England specifically as what he pointed at. All his places where NASCAR is considering events beyond just regional leagues around the world as well. So, could we see a NASCAR winner and then bring over international people or NASCAR people go over there and race in Europe, like England, for instance. Canada and Mexico do make sense to me. Now, Mexico's a little bit harder because of, getting people across the border down to Mexico City and things to that effect and everything. But those two make obvious sense for a race, throughout the season in Canada or Mexico. I don't know why they don't do it more often, to be honest with you. Other news around NASCAR. NASCAR announced a public celebration of life for Kyle Busch. The remembrance, by the way, free to attend if you're in the area. The remembrance will take place at Charlotte Motor Speedway on October 9th, following that NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race that weekend. No other details as of this point, but just letting you know if you wanted to, if you're going to be in that area late October or want to be in that area around beginning of October, I should say, not late October. October 9th is early, Steve. So pay attention for more details of that event as well, if you so would like to. Then the big news over these last few days is NASCAR has sat down and several changes are on tap for the rules package for the NASCAR Cup Series, specifically at Daytona International Speedway coming up on October 29th. They called it a super speedway package change, but it's only for Daytona on August 29th as of now. Probably going to be the test, right? So currently the update is for only the Cup Series at Daytona, not for other ones. If it goes well here, they'll expand it out, no doubt about it. So for those of you in NASCAR, you'll understand some of this. I understand this might be confusing if you don't delve into NASCAR's weeds out there. They're going from a 7-inch spoiler down to a 4-inch spoiler. Wide splitter stuffers, which basically means the same as intermediate tracks. All about drafting and getting the speed out there. Safety equipment does remain the same as current super speedways packages. Engine is tapered spacer, so that basically means the tapered spacer is reduced to 27 to 32nd inches. That's about 465 horsepower is what they're lowering the horsepower down to with the lower spoiler in the back. New spoiler braces will be on these cars and spoiler deflection device, which is redesigned to accommodate that 4-inch spoiler, all part of the design of this deal. Lowering the horsepower down, lowering the spoiler from 7 to 4. They're trying to get more exciting racing on these drafting tracks. That's what they're trying to do here as well. So Daytona coming up August 29th is going to be when we can see all of this. So what this means is single car speeds are going to be about 2 to 3 miles per hour faster, as they're estimating, than current qualifying speeds. Maximum pack speeds estimated in the same range as currently out there. So basically, if you get by yourself, you go a little bit faster. Whereas if you're in the groups there on these super speedways, well, you can stay in that group and go about the same speeds. Dynamic passing maneuver, CFD, does indicate that completion of a pass with a 5 mile per hour run is more likely with this new package coming out as well. So, it's a lot of technicality. I get it. But they're trying to find ways. The bottom line is they're trying to find ways to make these super speedway races more eventful. Fuel savings has taken over the super speedways. They're just racing at 3/4 of a throttle just around the racetrack, two cars deep there until the end of the race, and then they all open it up. They're saving fuel. They're saving tires. They're trying to figure out how to stop that from happening, and I'm up for anything to try it. I don't know if it'll work. I'm not that smart. I don't get into that engineering side of it. But try anything to make these super speedway races fun again. Make speedway races great again, if I may dare say that out there. Hey, that's the news around the sport. And, let's look ahead to this weekend's racing now as well. And, of course, we'll start with the IndyCar. IndyCar returns to the Oval this weekend. No road course coming up here. And, of course, they're going into Nashville. Now, since IndyCar was off the last week, let's remind you of the championship points in IndyCar. Throw up Indy 1 for me if you would. Of course, this is the championship point standing as of right now. David Malak has moved from second down to fourth here, or third down to fourth, I believe he was at, with Christian Lundgaard winning that race here recently. 1 point difference between those two. Pato O'Ward strongly in fifth all season long, but of course won a race here recently as well. Still in that fifth spot, but trying to get closer to the top 4 out there. Alex Palau, of course, winning in number 1, has been there pretty much since last year. I know he dropped down earlier in the season and everything, but for the most part, we'll just say he cemented that number 1 spot with a little bit of variations out there. Kyle Cookwood there in the 2nd spot as well. Christian Lundgaard, David Malakis, and Pato O'Ward this weekend. Now, Nashville Super Speedway, it's a length of 1.33 miles here for the IndyCar guys. 300 laps will be done. 399-mile race here for IndyCar at Nashville. Qualifying will be Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. For those of us on the west side of the country, well, noontime. The race Sunday is an evening race for Nashville. 5:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, which means late afternoon or early afternoon here for us on the west side of the country. 2:30 p.m. is when the race will happen there at Nashville. Josef Newgarden, if you didn't know, he's the unquestioned recent king of oval racing in the IndyCar Series. 13 of the 30 circle track races, he's won the last 30 since the start of the 2021 season. You're like, oh man, 13 of 30, huh? Well, that's a big percentage. That's 43% win percentage for him. So obviously Josef Newgarden's the favorite. Josef won here in Phoenix on that oval earlier this year, and what was that, March as well. So can anybody compete with him as the obvious favorite going into this race? Well, 6 drivers have won 9 oval races dating back to last year's Indianapolis 500. Excuse me, folks. That number increases to 8 winning drivers over the past 2+ seasons. Obviously, Alex Palou is always in the conversation. He's just the best driver on this circuit, or the hottest driver on the circuit, no doubt. Christian Lundgaard won recently, but he's also losing his ride after this season, right? He's not included in this Arrow McLaren changes coming up we talked about over the last couple of weeks. So he wants to show that he deserves another ride and another high-end ride as well. So now you're adding motivation even more so to Christian Lundgaard to have a good race and have a chance to win here at Nashville as well. Pato O'Ward, I've been telling you, I've loved the way he's raced all year. He just has been outside on the podium for most races. A few he's had worse places there, but generally, love the way he's run this year. Just could not get on the podium and eventually get over. Well, he's got his first win here recently in the last race. Is that enough momentum for Pato O'Ward to get another win here coming up at this oval as well? I know there's one guy I haven't mentioned yet, and I like the way he's running for a lot of reasons, especially on an oval. Finished 3rd here in Phoenix back in March. But with all that being said on favorites and who to watch out for, well, I'm going to go with my man, David Malakis out there. He's had several podiums this year. He's had several good finishes just outside the podium. He also has the most points earned on an oval, on the ovals completely this year. He's the best oval driver. Yeah, give it to Josef Newgarden over the last 30 races. Recently, though, David Malakis has been tearing it up this year on the ovals. I'm going to go with David Malakis here to win his first IndyCar win this weekend, and also do it on that Nashville oval as well. Take a chance here on a guy that just is running consistently, just needs to get that one win to keep it going. This weekend, I believe he will get that win, of course, coming up this weekend. Now we move over to the O'Reilly side. Of course, like I said, late night, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 there for the IndyCar race on Sunday. Well, the O'Reilly series is off, but that means we get a Saturday Truck Series race again. I just love the Truck Series on a Saturday. I like it a lot when it's Saturday truck morning, like it was last weekend at LimeRock, and then you go to an O'Reilly race in the afternoon. I love that as well. Well, O'Reilly's off this week, so we get a standalone truck race on Saturday morning. And then the Cup Series, of course, over there on the short track. And it's the first point race since 1996 in North Wilkesboro this weekend. What do I mean by short track? 0.625 mile short track here coming up. We've seen this racetrack. Not in a competitive format here, at least in the Cup Series recently. And so we get the Saturday morning truck race coming up. So Saturday coming up, 12:30 p.m. Eastern is when this race runs, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Fox Sports 1, of course, is where you find all of your truck racing out there. So early morning Saturday, no less. Practice is Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. FS2 is where all the practice is. 11 a.m. our time out here on the West Coast. Qualifying will be on Friday as well, 3:05 p.m. Eastern. For those of you in Virginia, Chicago time areas. I know Chicago's not Eastern, but, for you guys that watch this program, we see you out there. Georgia, watching this program there on that side of the country. 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:05 out here on the West Coast as well. Ryan Newman, well, he's going to return to NASCAR racing. He's running in this truck race. Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen, they're all coming down from the Cup Series to race as well. And you guys know we don't normally pick a Cup Series driver to win the race. Overall, we just assume one of them are going to win it. Here's the difference, though. This race, I like two things about it, and we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to the Cup side. Christopher Bell coming down from the Cup Series, coming off of that broken wrist and how he's been manipulating everything. Second place finish last week at EchoPark. Yeah, Christopher Bell is the Cup Series driver that should win this weekend. So Christopher Bell, I'm going to pick him to win the race. But what we always do, we always pick the highest finishing Truck Series driver, the guy that's on the Truck Series, for the whole year. We pick who's going to be the highest finishing truck driver. We put it that way. Now, this is the short track. Christopher Bell should win this race. But then who's the strong truck driver that's going to do it? You're going to have physicality, a lot of bumping and running at times here. You've got to be good with the brakes and acceleration and smooth. Pit stops have to go smooth. Well, interesting enough here, I think our two dominating guys in the Truck Series, meaning the top 2 point standing guys right now, with their experience, are going to be the guys out there. Now, question is, one or two here. So I'm looking at Lane Riggs or Caden Honeycutt to win this Truck Series race this weekend. On this short track, I'm going to kind of favor Lane Riggs this weekend. I think he's going to squeak out a win over Caden Honeycutt. And Lane Riggs on this .625 track is just his experience is going to push him over the top here, over my favorite driver on this Truck Series, Caden Honeycutt, here this weekend at North Wilkesboro Raceway. Now we got the Cup Series coming up here. So you get done with the Truck Series there, and then you can go into practice and qualifying on Saturday for the Cup Series. That's right, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so 2 to 4 p.m. out here on the West Coast on Saturday for practice and qualifying for that Cup Series. The race, of course, is on Sunday in North Wilkesboro, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. for us on the West Coast. Obviously, TNT is where you can find it as well. North Wilkesboro, as you know, has been the site of the All-Star race the last 3 years. So, NASCAR drivers in the Cup Series have actually raced this racetrack, at least a lot of the big-name guys with the All-Star race. But a points race hasn't happened here since 1996. Not only that, this race is 450 laps, so 281.25 miles is what it's going to be. This is the longest race in North Wilkesboro history. This is an asphalt racetrack as well, but it was repaved back in November of 2023. Kind of been raced in an all-star format. Different format, different pushing here in the all-star format than what we're going to see with the points race this weekend. So, of course, we always got to look at who are the favorites on short tracks to win this weekend. I'm just not going to lie to you. Christopher Bell, to me, is always a favorite on a short track. Love the way he races a short track. I love how he's there at the end. And the fact that he's racing the Truck Series on Saturday on top of it, that tells me he's going to know this track intimately for Sunday's Cup Series. Yes, he's raced it in the All-Star Series, but I think the tenacity and the way this runs is going to be different here for a points race. Obviously, Ryan Blaney is going to do well. Great short track racer as well. Problem I got with him now is I could pick him this weekend, but I won't. I'll tell you that right now. He won last week. Can he go back-to-back? Can Ryan Blaney do it and go back-to-back? Other than those two guys here, I mean, somebody else could win this race. Denny Hamlin can win this race, don't get me wrong. Absolutely. Tyler Reddick can battle his way to the front and win this race this weekend as well. I don't think any of the Hendrick guys, maybe a Chase Elliott's there at the end, but no Kyle Larson, none of those guys, no RFK Fords in this. Joey Logano, right? He's racing for points. He needs to get in that top 16. Can Joey Logano battle it out and get up there? Sure, absolutely. I think he could do that as well. But this race is going to be fun to watch. A lot of question marks on how it runs compared to the All-Star race the last 3 years. It's going to be interesting. I did not like this track as an All-Star race track. Now, could it be that I'm just naturally against the All-Star races, right? I don't pay attention to them as non-points race. Everything involved with it's different. I just don't consider it something that was must-watch television. And I didn't enjoy the North Wilkesboro track while it was an All-Star race. My perception different with the point race is what I'm wondering here. Is it raced differently than the All-Star races are run? Well, we're definitely going to find out on Sunday if that's the case. I'll be paying attention, and I'm going to tell you guys here, Christopher Bell is going to win the Cup Series race in North Wilkesboro this weekend. Short track, 0.625 mile track, cars banging into each other, physicality, pit stops have to be fresh out there. Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs Racing, getting the win this weekend here at North Wilkesboro Raceway. Hey, folks, I appreciate you joining me for this week's edition of the Pit Stop. We've had a lot of incidences on the track where NASCAR's had to get involved lately, and they kind of died down, right? The SVG situation is just kind of comical in my eyes. We'll have to keep our eyes on this because guys are getting feisty out there leading up to the chase here with 6 races remaining in the Cup Series as well for them. So it's good. 5 races getting feisty. Guys are having to push some buttons. This could be fun here on a short racetrack this weekend as well, coming up based off of tempers and guys having to make moves out there. Don't miss the race on Sunday, and don't miss that truck race on Saturday morning. Just roll out of bed, get your breakfast, turn it on. Look, out here on the west side of the country, it's 9:30, right? Let's do it. Come on back next week. Pit Stop as well. We'll look back at these races. I'm also really looking forward to Nashville for IndyCar. That oval, you're just going to see speeds as they drive around that Nashville circuit. It'll be a fun one, folks. Looking forward to it. We'll see you next week, folks, here on the Pit Stop.